The banner will likely tell you the story, but it's been a tough start to the season. I get it. We're not even 20 games in yet. I think we just hit the 10 game mark, or we're just about to have. And again, I'm going to emphasize I'm not calling the end of the world here. I get that, with the negative comments that were made to begin the offseason, and then there were some throughout the course of the offseason regarding the organization and spending and so on and so forth, plus the lack of hitting to begin the season and a couple of pitching struggles just with how the season's gone so far. It doesn't create the best sort of mixture for some fans. I understand that, but at least for me, I'm not super worried about this Mariners team currently. We go over here directly into it. The April 1st game against the Cleveland Guardians continued a 7-game homestand for the Mariners, but began that series with the Guardians. They started that series off with a 5-4 win. Our player of the game, left fielder Dominic Canzone. 1 hit, 1 run, 3 RBIs, a 3-run homer for Canzone in this one. A big home run, as obviously you can tell. They won by the 1 run. They needed that 3-run homer by Dom to keep that going and to give them the necessary lead so that they could pick up that win. It's nice to see Canzone. When he's able to get a hold of a ball, he's really able to drive it. He added 15 pounds of muscle this offseason. He had another home run later in the week that we'll talk about in a second here as we get through the course of the games. But, if he's able to improve some of his swing decisions and really work towards being better at the plate, then he should be a good asset and he should have a good year for this Mariners ball club. The Mariners weren't able to keep the winning ways up for the next 2 games of the series, as you can see on your screen. April 2nd versus the Guardians was a 2-5 loss. Our play of the game catcher, Cal Raleigh, 2 hits, 1 run. Tough in this one. The Mariners, they at times they've been stuck at that 2-run number, and they just weren't able to keep going. Tough one to lose there. You look for the rubber match to keep things going. George Kirby was on the mound, and this game, April 3rd versus the Guardians, was just a really ugly one, an 8-0 loss for the Mariners. They lose that series against Cleveland. They have a losing record on the 7-game homestand to begin the year. This one was just tough. Kirby on the mound, he didn't feel like his pitches were bad per se. Cleveland's just really good with getting the bat on the ball. There were some mistakes by the infield, some errors, some misplayed balls, just by the defense generally as well. And the offense, obviously, when you get shut out, you can't really do much there. So it was all around just a really bad way to end the homestand, bad way to end the series, and an ugly game in total. So from there, the Mariners, They leave that day. It's a getaway day. They spend the off day in Milwaukee. Then they begin a 6-game road trip with a 3-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers. April 5th at the Brewers, a 5-6 loss. This one was really tough. Our player of the game, right fielder Mitch Hamaker, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 RBI. The Mariners were able to get a lead late. They pushed hard throughout this one. They didn't really start the game well. They did fight to be able to get back into this game and get into a position late into the innings where they could have won it potentially. But Andres Munoz, uncharacteristically, he walks all 4 batters that he faces in the bottom of the 9th, and he walks in the winning run. He's never walked more than 2 batters, I don't believe, in 1 inning. So really tough for Andres there. He's able to prove himself if he needed to. The next game, April 6th at the Brewers, a 5-3 win. The Mariners did need some insurance runs here. They did jump out ahead, got 2 runs early. They were able to get some insurance runs late with homers by Jorge Polanco and Luis Arias. And then Andres Munoz comes in and shuts the door. Our player of the game, right-handed pitcher Bryce Miller. Big Tex, 7 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, no runs against, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts on the day for Miller. Great second start of the season for Bryce, and he keeps the Brewers scoreless for 7 innings, really helping them push things forward. A lot of folks thought maybe that he would go 8 innings, but the long-winded answer that Scott Service gave was essentially there's a lot that goes into that and why they decided to pull him ahead of the 8th inning. April 7th, so you're hoping after the dramatic win in Game 2 that, you got the even series, you're trying to get the rubber match there to get a series win. You're able to do so. April 7th at the Brewers, a 4-12 loss. This one just really ugly. You had Emerson Hancock on the mound, and he's not really a whiff guy. The Brewers were able to jump all over him. They scored 6 runs across the first few innings. They had 10 runs before you knew it, really, within the first 5 innings. And the Mariners, I mean, they were able to get some runs the first few innings, but they weren't able to keep up with Milwaukee throughout the course of this game. Dom Canzone hits another in the top of the ninth. He hits a towering 2-run shot to double the Mariners' score at that point in time, but it wasn't enough. Like I said, though, and I mentioned earlier, when Canzone is able to get a hold of a ball, he really can drive it. That added muscle has helped him so far this year. You're hoping, again, that he's able to make the better swing decisions and have a strong year at the plate for the Mariners. Our player of the game, it's not Canzone. It is Josh Rojas. Rojas, for the second time this year already, has had to appear in relief, which isn't great. You don't really want him to have to do that. But 2 hits on the day, 1 run, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and he pitched in 1 inning of relief. So, nice for Josh there to get in and really continue to make an impact for this Mariners team in a bunch of different positions. He had a nice start to the year at the plate. Can't really be mad at him, not at least compared to some of how his other teammates are playing. So anyway, we move into our first player of the week for the Mariners this year. And I'm going with Ty France this past week. Over the last 7 days, France, 3 games played, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 RBI, 2 walks, a 400 batting average, 500 OPB, BP, a 500 slugging to create a 1,000 OPS. He, as long as his wife Maggie, welcomed their newborn boy into the world. So congratulations to Ty and Maggie. That's why we'll get into the roster-related moves here and team-related news, why Ty France was put on the paternity list. They had been wondering about it through the end of spring training, but Maggie and Ty welcome a little boy into the world. So congratulations to them. I know it's been a long time coming. So congratulations to them. Both really great people. And you couldn't be happier for a set of folks. So we continue. We'll go straight into injury-related news and some updates here. On the 1st of April, Matt Brash threw a bullpen in Arizona on the day and mixed in some sliders. He wasn't yet throwing at maximum effort, but was making steady progress. Reliever Gregory Santos' MRI came back clean, and he began light baseball activities that day. He's in a similar sort of situation to other reliever Eduard Bazardo. Of those 3 relievers, though, Brash is believed to be the one that's furthest along. All of them, Santos and Bazardo should need full spring trainings, though. Brash had already pitched had been through a little bit of spring training, so he won't need as much. Starter Brian Wu was down for a little over a week, but had also resumed baseball activity. He is on track for a short term on the injured list. And then infielder/outfielder Sam Haggerty, who was out with a non-baseball related injury. We haven't been able to get any sort of update to that. I know some people were asking us on Twitter. I'm sorry that I don't have an update on what it is. Haggerty is making progress and has resumed workouts. He has been making rehab assignment games with the Tacoma Rainiers as they've been in Salt Lake playing the Bees this weekend. On the 7th, as you can see on your screen, Gabe Spire was dealing with neck discomfort in his outing on the 6th. He woke up with it, got treatment, and was able to throw a pregame, but the discomfort could be felt in the game at full intensity. It did make it difficult to finish pitches, hence the command issues and velocity drop. Spire did get his neck worked on after that game and got treatment on the morning of the 7th. He was able to throw off the mound pregame and said he could pitch if needed. He didn't end up having to, as the Mariners got blown out in that one. We go straight into team-related news here because we got a bunch of stuff. On the 2nd, the team claimed left-handed pitcher Sammy Peralta off of waivers from the Chicago White Sox. The 25-year-old Peralta reported immediately to AAA Tacoma. He had yet to appear in a game for the White Sox this season. He pitched in 3 spring training games with Chicago, going 0-for-1 with a 5.40 ERA, 3.1 innings pitched, 2 earned runs against, with 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and a home run against. The Queens, New York native was designated for assignment by the White Sox back on the 28th of March. The 6'2", 215-pound lefty made his major league debut last season, pitching in 20 games for the White Sox and going 2-0 with a 4.05 ERA, accumulating 9 earned runs across 20 innings pitched, 11 walks, and 18 strikeouts. He earned his first career win back on August 6th at the Cleveland Guardians. Peralta has also appeared in parts of 4 minor league seasons in the White Sox organization, recording a record of 14-12 with 10 saves, a 3.96 ERA, 98 earned runs across 223 innings pitched, 67 walks, 270 strikeouts, and a 1.22 whip in 112 games, 9 starts. So we go from that. And lastly, to wrap it up here with you, on the 5th, I almost said the 12th. We haven't even gotten there yet. The Mariners recalled infielder/outfielder Samad Taylor from AAA Tacoma as they put infielder Ty France on the paternity list. So again, congratulations to Ty. It was also nice for Samad Taylor to come up here. He's shown some flash, especially with his speed. He can play the infield, can play the outfield. He's a player that, will be a valuable asset, whether it's in AAA Tacoma, up with the big league club. So just to briefly look at it here, as the banner will say, I do feel like there's some progress made. You're seeing the offense be a little bit better than they were throughout the latter half of that opening homestand. Doesn't mean that things are complete, though. Julio's still trying to get some things together. JP's been hitting the ball hard. That's the big thing. And a lot of positive sort of notes for this Mariners offense. Folks have been hitting the ball hard. Ty France has been hitting the ball hard. JP Crawford's been hitting the ball hard. Jorge Polanco's been hitting the ball hard. Luis Urias has been hitting the ball hard. Luis had a solid series against his former team in Milwaukee. So there are positive things there. You're just waiting for them to start to put it together in more of a complete notion. You really don't get all 9 hitters going at a consistent rate, but if you're able to get a majority of them going, then you see positive results. Plus, on the other hand of things, at least the second way through the rotation, a bunch of the starters for the Mariners haven't been doing too well. Luis Castillo didn't look too great. George Kirby got roughed up, as we mentioned. Emerson Hancock struggled in this start. Logan Gilbert could have had a better start. Bryce Miller was great, so there was that. But again, I'm not pressing the big red panic button. If at least, you're on my show. It's my opinion, right? It's not great. You need to improve upon it, obviously, but I'm not super worried like some fans across social media are right now. So we'll go straight to it. The team sits at a record of 4 wins and 6 losses on the year. That's good for 3rd in the American League West. Looking ahead, they will continue their 6-game road trip when they head up to Canada to play the Toronto Blue Jays for 3 games. April 8th is actually the Blue Jays' home opener, funny enough. That's got a 4:07 p.m. first pitch. Pacific time. April 9th at the Blue Jays is also a 4:07 p.m. Pacific time first pitch. April 10th to close out that series and get back home is a 12:07 p.m. first pitch against the Blue Jays up there in Toronto. Once they have a day off from returning from their road trip, the Mariners will begin a 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs at home. April 12th versus the Cubs is a 6:40 p.m. first pitch. It's Mariners hoodie night that night. April 13th versus the Cubs is also a 6:40 p.m. first pitch. That's Salute to Armed Forces night, which is a military hat giveaway. And then April 14th versus the Chicago Cubs is a 1:10 p.m. start. That is a Sunday Little League day, as a bunch of the kids post-game will be getting a Mitch Haniger poster upon leaving the ballpark.